All right. Hello, everyone. I am Trainer Anade, and this is Backpack Hero, a roguelike inventory management with some elements of deck builder, but it's not a deck builder. However, I am going to focus for a lot of the run because it is so RNG heavy and so it requires a lot of thinking. So with me, I have my wife Aria to commentate.
Hello, I'm Arya. I have probably close to 400 hours in this game, so I'll be more than happy to provide commentary about this amazing run.
But all right, let's go ahead. Whoops. We are going to get right into it. So this is a Backpack Hero triple finish. So we're going to be doing a standard run, which is 9 floors with 3 of the 5 characters. Um, yeah, and then we'll get into it. All right, we are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, so as Anade said, this is a inventory management game. Every run starts with the same 3 items in the same 3x3 backpack, but as we go through the different floors and go through the different encounters, we'll see various. Get XP to level up our backpack to increase the size of it, and get items from each encounter to get the to have more and more things to do. So, this first couple of fights are going to be pretty straightforward. We have 2 different kind of main things we want to do in each turn, which is get block, which is that shield in the bottom of the health, to the left of the health bar. Shield is taken first before health, and then damage, which the sword does shield. When you get the levels, you get 4 spaces added to your backpack, and you can continue. You can add them one at a time like that.
Oh.
That's a risky strategy. So Anadi is considering. One of the best strategies in Backpack Hero is an archery build. Archery is a little bit riskier. It's kind of that one of those high risk, high reward strategies that we don't generally get this lucky to get a bow and an arrow on that first loot, which is why Anade is actually considering it right now.
Yeah.
The way archery works is, the way all the game works is, where you put something in the backpack matters. All items, some items make more of a difference in other words, but otherwise you have various different items, and you have various things you can do with your backpack. And arrows work by having empty spaces in front of the arrow. If you have an empty space, for every empty space, the damage of the arrow increases, which is one of why it's a little bit higher risk, because of the fact that we're already going to be getting less items because of the speed run of not doing every fight. I mean, this floor we happened to be doing every fight because it was a.
No, I skipped one.
Oh, there was a fight. Okay. But we're not doing every. We'll be doing these fights, and we'll have less items, and the arrows will have even less because we want to leave empty spaces in our already kind of small backpack. But I think it is an interesting strategy, especially since we got both the bow and the arrow in the first run. That's one of the reasons why it's a little risky, is because you might have to get one or the other. So now we'll be getting these archery turns out, and it does a lot of damage, especially as we start making the backpack bigger and you get more empty spaces for those arrows to go. And also, one thing that the archery can do is we have multiple. You can shoot with one use of the bow. If we get a second arrow, we'll be able to shoot both of them, which is again why they kind of can get very big damage. The particular bow that we have, the first use is free, and then every other use after that costs more energy, which is kind of nice for this run as well, because we have it gives us like a little bit of flexibility if you find another one of those bows, just to kind of make your damage grow even further, because you have a bunch of 0 energy things that you can do that will enhance your archery. Ooh, that's nice. So yeah, this is what, why we have this archery. We're trying to change the shape of the way the backpack is going. We want to make more and more empty spaces, as we just did there. And so now we're doing, increased amount of damage every time we have that. Oh, and that's another one of those bows.
No, but it's...
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the shop. On every floor, on most floors, there's a shop. You can sell 3 items to the shopkeeper. Each item can be sold for a different amount of gold depending on their rarity. There are 4 rarities: common, legendary, common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. They're worth a different amount of money. So a lot of times we'll sometimes get items to increase our... just to sell them.
Okay.
So
really quick, there's a sleeping guy.
Yeah, so
sleeping guy is awake.
Yeah, when the sleeping guy, those are elite enemies. When the elite enemy sees you, by having a straight line path from you to them, they will wake up and they will follow you for the rest of the fights until they catch up to you. They move at the same speed as you, so they're very easy to outrun if you are prepared for them. And so we kind of keep that in mind as we move forward with these enemies and try to get them more, try to avoid them, because those fights are harder and more dangerous and not really... They're worth a little bit more XP and slightly better items, but not generally enough to justify the danger they impose by taking them, especially when we're under level in some of these fights. So we're at the first boss. Every 3 floors there is a boss fight. This is you'll be fine. You'll make
fine.
it. Yeah,
good.
Every 3 floors is a boss fight. They are stronger, but at the end of the fight you get a relic, which is a special item that only that are generally better. That way you can get a second bow, an arrow at least.
Yeah, that's my thought.
So that relic has each relic comes with kind of a positive and a negative. Some of the oh, that's really nice. So I'll explain why. Let me finish the relic conversation first. So the relics give a positive and negative bonus for each of the things. In general, the coral doesn't really have too much of a negative, but what it allows you to do is allows you to copy at the end of every fight. You choose one of your common items and you can duplicate it. So we can use that duplication to get more arrows, and also we have these roses, and roses apply a property called thorns, and thorns is very powerful, especially in a kind of a slower, in a build where you need to maybe sometimes use a shield, because every time an enemy attacks you, the thorns value will be done to you. So each rose gives 1 spike, so you get 3 spike per turn, which means every time someone attacks us, they're taking damage. And that will stack with each other between turns. So as we're already, on turn 3 or 4, whatever we're at now, we're already at 9 thorns. So we have the ability to kind of get through these fights a little bit quicker. So yeah, we're going to be changing the backpack again. We're trying to make as much space as possible on the backpack so that we can take advantage of the double damaging of the doubling effect of the 2 different arrows. Each arrow will get their bonuses for the empty spaces. Are you grabbing that axe just to sell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't generally spend a lot of money in the stores, but we generally use
so much gold.
Yeah, but generally we use for the gold is for the crafting, which we'll see probably in a second when Anade goes after finishes this fight with the hermit mimic. Yeah. There's a very small chance of this mimic happening, but it seems to happen at least once per run. Mm-hmm. So this is it's not just a regular chests. Unfortunately, we try to go to chests because they're usually...
Oops, that was not what I meant to do.
Honestly, that's not terrible.
Yeah, but now I have to rearrange everything.
Yeah, so the chests are generally quick ways to get lots of XP, and get new items. But obviously, if it turns out to be a mimic, we lose that time saving. But in general, it's still generally worth it to get the.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah.
I am concerned about this run.
Yeah, this is a dangerous thing. I mean, one of the things we try to do when they're doing the speed run is trying to get armor. Armor is automatic block.
I don't have clothing.
So it's automatic block, so you don't have to spend energy to do it, and you get the you get some armor every turn, so it kind of helps you survive. With the archery build, because we want so many empty spaces, that also means we generally get less in the way of armor, which does cause some issues for our run. And so this, but now that we have that second free bow, right, it takes a little bit less damage because of the fact that we have this less space in front of the arrows, but because we can now use that bow for free twice, that does increase our damage overall, especially considering, you know, the scaling damage will allow us to use it a lot more times per turn if we want to do damage. And the one nice thing about this particular enemy that we're fighting, this is, you know, the shadow. It's Perseus Shadow.
I did that wrong.
You did that wrong.
But luckily, I have that. We're good.
So the shadow, what I was going to say is it mimics your actions every turn.
Wasn't
there was
this
energy.
the one with the energy? Okay, then I will figure it out.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a really, yeah.
All right, hang on.
So the armor is, like I said, free. Like a lot of different armor pieces. The shield is one of those pieces. Is one way to get blocked, but that takes up your energy to doing other things. Armor is free. It just gives you that protection. It does mean, but it does take up a lot of space usually to get a good armor, and so that is kind of the risk that we're going into right now. What we have now, an issue with: do we want to take up so much space with the bow and arrow? Probably want to switch the order of them because of the bonus from the armor on the weapon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. So the weapon, that particular armor piece, in addition to providing block and block to adjacent armor pieces, it also provides damage to adjacent weapons. So our arrows are considered weapons, even though they are, you know, also arrows. So that is not a lot of, it's less damage, but a little bit more protection.
I don't love it, but we're going to try it.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get the shape of the backpack changed a little bit so we can take full advantage of some of this stuff. But we're not gonna get a level for a little bit. This is a bad fight. One nice thing about the with the spikes is if we're worried about getting damage, we're still going to be making progress on the fight because of the fact that the spikes will get more and more each turn. So we can avoid the damage and still, you know, start taking out things pretty easily. One thing I hadn't explained yet, we have this like skull that we just added to the backpack in the middle of the fight. We had those goos earlier. Those are what are called hazards. Hazards are done by monsters, and they provide some sort of penalty. They go over top of your items, and if they cover an item completely, it's unusable. All of the hazards do slightly different things. The one that this skull is providing will sometimes provide poison, and poison does damage automatically. It provides this this poison, which will take health away from you directly. You're getting rid of the...
I forgot that they can't reach it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Good call. Yes. So because our backpack is very full of all those spikes, it does mean that like our arrows are doing less damage. And what Anadi was alluding to is when we put those arrows face up, what's supposed to happen, right, is that the way that the bows work is it looks to the right or left of the bow, and it just finds the first arrow it can find. So if you're not facing each other, then they're only going to see one of the two arrows, and therefore, if they're, you know, when we had them before, they're only facing one of them. So even though they both got the bonus from the armor, they were only getting one hit anyway. So that was actually a really that was one of those mistakes. Luckily, it didn't cost us too much. Uh, we were able to get through that fight. I think even with a pretty good state because of the armor, because of the shield, having that shield,
Yeah.
and the spikes. So this is a very different run than I'm used to commentating, and it's not something we've done very often because of this. Like we're at that we're always at that teetering at the end of death here with that like 19 hit points right now. So the one kind of saving grace is that mistake that Anade made is that mask at the top. That's a helmet, and it's a one time per combat you can use it, and it provides dodge, which is an automatic avoiding of damage, and so that is very nice for getting us out of a bad situation. If we're just like, oh, we don't have the armor to get through this next round, we will use the armor instead. Yeah. So we have a very. So that's where we're at right now with this backpack. We're kind of finding our footing. Are you gonna get that?
Yeah, because a 1 is.
Yeah. Are you gonna keep the other one or no?
Yeah, might as well. It's a 0.
Well, I meant you're gonna keep one of the two of them though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the bow that we just got, as you saw, it was a sword at one point. That there's some of these items in the game are what they call transformable, and they can transform into two different items. This one is a bow or a blade. Ooh, that's perfect. So you have this. You can do both. Right now, it as a bow. It can use. It's not free to use ever, but it doesn't get worse and worse. So with the extra energy, we can use that probably more often. I'm going to take a break to drink some water as we go to the next boss fight. Is there anything to share with us? Or any questions?
No issue if not.
Yeah, I just needed to take that breath of water. This one requires a lot of explanation. There's a lot going on. It gets a little bit easier when we get to the next encounter because of the fact, the next fight, because of a lot of it is repeated information. So one thing we hadn't talked about yet, there's lots of different status effects, right? Spikes is one of those status effects that we get. This particular badger provide, add something. We're now adding burn. We talked, and this one adds rage. They all do something slightly different. They all, the spikes we explained, the dodge, avoids attacks. The burn does damage over time, and the rage increases the damage of all your attacks. But the thing about them is, in addition to just them stacking between turns, they will every turn, every status effect will decrease by 1, which is why it's kind of important to get if you're able to gain status effects, it's better to get 2 of them so that you can provide these yeah, okay. So it provides additional damage. No, yeah. So it increases by 1 each turn. So if you have the decrease of the energy, you want to be able to get 2 things. So the spikes, each of those red roses gives 1 spikes. The yellow rose kind of compounds with the other roses to do even more spikes. Which is why we're able to get so many so quickly. We have this. So we want to make sure we get that right. We have to make sure we constantly are getting those status effects, so that we can increase our damage or whatever that positive effect of that status effect is. Obviously, for the opposite, for the negative status effects like the poison and the burn, we want to try to avoid taking it as much as possible because it stacks and the decrease is very slow. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, you don't need it right now.
I don't need it right now, but
you're getting so much damage.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
so
sell this.
You think so? Because you're not having a lot of extra block anyway.
Yeah, I'm getting like just enough block. It's a little scary, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, the relic. It's probably a regular chest. It's not gonna give you 2 mimics.
I don't need a chest. I'm just going.
Yeah. Did you check the craft
Yes.
Okay, the forge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had a good forge.
We got the energy.
We got the energy, which is important. That was close.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice.
So as you saw, we started in line of sight of the elite there. It luckily, the way it is implemented by the programmers, it's when the enemy wakes up when you move into a spot it can see, and going into a floor doesn't count as moving, so it didn't see us. So as long as we never go back to that square, that elite is kind of safe. That's one of the best places for an elite to be, kind of completely out of our way, non-threatening at all. So we have a pretty good floor this time for that safety, because as we get higher in the floors, it gets more and more dangerous.
Oops.
You're good. You have the the bug. We have a fire arrow.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So there are different arrows. We only saw the one, which is the regular arrow. The one we got there is a fire arrow. It, instead of doing damage every time it's used, it just gives more and more burn. And since we have that fire gem, which kind of like the armor provides bonuses to adjacent weapons, so does that gem. Most of the gems in this game provide some bonus to weapons. That fire gem makes any weapon it can adjacent to it deal extra burn damage, and on top of whatever it would do normally. So with the burn, we have more and more damage we're doing each turn. Again, adding that burn, is a good way to kind of like, even if we're blocking, we're doing damage. Even if we end up spending some of our energy on the shield, we're still doing damage because of that burn. Nice.
Yeah, we're just gonna do that.
Yeah. So, we have these. One of the things we do in archery builds is we love consumables, because consumables like these shurikens and the potions, we can use them to do extra damage or do whatever their effect is, and then they get out of the way, right? We love getting them out of the way. They keep their bases open. We get more backpack spaces to see things, throw arrows to see. We do more damage, and then that makes us happy.
Yep.
And that's what we want to be, is happy. So, and we're not happy at this second, but we will be. We'll get through this fight.
Crap. No, we're not going to.
You could have done.
Oh, hey!
You forgot about the burn.
I did.
But you also forgot about their burn, so it worked out.
Yeah.
You don't really need more money at this point.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a completely normal amount of money.
Yeah, so we have we are, these enemies in the fire, every 3 floors there are 2 different options to go to. There are like, after every boss and at the beginning of the fight, you'll see that there are 2 doors, 2 different sets of stairs on that floor. You could go to either one of them. They always are the same 2 options for the first 3, the second 3, and the third 3. We tend to, for the speed run, always choose the same options because we think are slightly faster. They're slightly easier fights in general, and the bonuses you get they're not generally that much harder. They're harder, and they don't give that much more XP, and slower, so they're not generally worth it. Just add the slow. Well, no reason not to.
I mean,
if you face like
Oh yeah, this is floor 8.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Fine.
So slow is obviously then I get to describe what's slow. I don't get you to get to describe slow. Um, slow is an effect that will provide additional. Ooh, that's nice. It will provide additional damage. It will if you apply inflict slow when an enemy tries to add block to themselves. If they're trying to block themselves, it will detract the slow value from the block they give, which was very good if for certain of the boss from certain enemies that just do a lot of block. Oh, we're fine. You got the Grandmaster. So there are a couple different options, 2 each, I think, per floor, per set of floors, and the Grandmaster is, in my opinion, the easiest of all of the floor 9 bosses of all 4 of the, both sets of floors. He is kind of too big to remember fighting. He thinks he's too big for that. He calls in 3 of his friends on turn 2. And they do their thing. They kind of they do a lot of burn. They kind of make you. They kind of are frustrating to deal with at first, but then he doesn't call any more friends. He only has these 3 friends, which is very good for a run like, he's not going to have this scaling damage from that. And then he himself doesn't really do anything until he gets to half health. At which point he finally realizes, oh wait, I should probably try to work. Like usually, if our run is going well, and we have so much burn, it's going well. By the time he actually decides to do anything, he's got so much. We're so powerful, he doesn't stand a chance. But yeah, so now we're on floor 9. We get through that quickly, and we're going on to the second character, Crate. Crate is the automaton robot mouse. His backpack starts bigger and obviously has different items that you can see. And the main difference, the way his mechanic works, is instead of you using your items directly, it will instead shoot this little charge at your backpack, and the charge will automatically just use the weapon as it hits them, as it just kind of hits those things and moves on. So during the fight, you basically just let it ride. We just do what it needs to do and just kind of go from there.
The other thing you saw.
The other thing is, instead of us adding the backpack pieces exactly where we want them to be, we're instead doing the backpack as a we get these tetronymos instead that decide where they go. They have to be adjacent, that you can't make holes, which we wouldn't want anyway, because if the charge ever leaves the backpack, you will lose the charge. Like, it would just any charge that's not used by the time it gets to the edge of a backpack is wasted.
Hey,
that's great for us. The pieces that you get are random. They're the same pieces you would get in Tetris, but they're about it. I feel like the distribution of them is about the same as the distribution of them in Tetris, whereas you always want the long piece and you never get it. And the square, the same thing. You want the long piece and the square. You almost never get them. We got the long piece early, which is good. It makes our backpack allow us to hit more things. It's a lot easier to maintain this, because one of the things that makes this game hard is the thinking. That's why Nade is not doing any talking, and is all leaving that to me, because of the fact that we have this we have the backpack. We want to be able to think about these things kind of more one at a time. Like, you take the turns. What we're trying to get. Ooh.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, okay.
So what we're trying to get. This is how the run is normally supposed to go. We're supposed to get a really good weapon. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. You try to get a really good weapon and just increase that weapon. You buff it up, with various things. get some, and then get armor to kind of avoid getting any damage. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to sell.
You do
Never
not have
mind.
anything to
Why
sell.
did I go there?
You don't have any gold either.
What?
You used the...
Oh, I accidentally used the whoopsie. I did not notice that.
Yeah, so that microchip thing, it allows you to reorganize your backpack. Normally you have to spend...
What? I mean, sure. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, it's fine. Ooh, that's really nice. We have to figure out how to use it, but that'd be really nice if you could...
Yeah.
You can do it. I believe in you. There's ways.
There are ways.
Maybe not yet,
Yeah.
but
I will get there.
yeah, you'll get there.
All right. Sorry.
We're getting a really good run so far. We're getting really lucky items. Those boots are...
Ooh.
You want that third... Want that...
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we try to do in a crate run is we just try to make a circle. The circle is very helpful because then it can make sure... We're going to put it next to there, right? Yeah, like that. For now.
Yeah.
It's not ideal. It'll take a little bit longer, but...
Yes. Fine.
The boots are one of the... Those boots are one of the best. But they are the best boots, I feel. Because especially for a run
Yeah.
that we want it, as we normally run this game.
All right.
We're getting good items, which is what the Sai is about.
No,
but-
yeah, these are amazing items. It just means I have to keep rearranging everything over and over again. Okay.
Yeah. So the
That's still there.
Yeah.
That's still there.
so the boots will provide a pretty decent amount of armor for one, and even more so, which is the nice part about it, is they will provide the armor does, but the bonus increases for each armor that you have. So as we get more armor, which we will generally get more armor than we got in that last fight, those boots become even better and better over the course. So it's definitely something we want to do. 9 energy.
On floor 2, by the way.
Well, that's also possible because you got like 2 bonus items.
I mean, yes. I don't really want any of this.
No, you do not.
Okay, cool.
Did you check the forge?
Yeah, there's an energy, but like I can't afford it.
Yeah. Do we have uncommon items or no?
A couple.
No, you don't have enough. You need, what do you need, 14?
Yeah.
So that's 2 uncommons and a common. You can get 2 uncommons and a common. There's that gold at the top. The 5 gold. And you have uncommon you can pick up here.
Okay, fine.
The energy, this fight is going to take a little bit longer, but the goal is the rarity of getting that energy on another floor is pretty low, to the point where it's worth the risk to take this time now, especially on floor 2,
Yeah.
so that we can get that energy up. It will definitely, hopefully, the goal is that it will save time in the long run.
I'm grabbing this because there's the capybara who wants a weapon.
Oh, okay. I was
So-
like, that's not useful.
Yeah, but oftentimes he'll give you better stuff. So,
Yeah.
and there's 40.
There's 40. So we got the gold we need. We need 40 gold. These are good.
Oh,
That's,
that's even better than this.
yeah, it is.
Oh, so is this.
That's free too.
I know. I can't fit this as much as it's a legendary, and I want to.
Yeah, you don't. It's not. We get rid of the needler. You don't want both, right?
The what?
You don't need both the needler and the slanted sword.
This? You
The
mean?
slanted
Oh, I'm gonna sell that.
Oh.
But it.
yeah, it's worth more to sell the legendary one.
Fine, I'll sell that.
So we'll
Listen, this is a run of all time. All right, hang on. Yeah, we're gonna put that there. We're going to. Oh wait, no, because we want this
there.
like that.
Yeah.
We want that like that.
Yeah,
Not
that's
like that.
that's perfect. Yeah, so that fight was incredibly worth it for us.
Yeah. This is currently not being used, but that's...
Leave it for now.
That's fine for now.
Yeah, I think what you have is better.
Alright, and let's go get that extra energy.
Yeah, so that fight ended up being incredibly worth it for us. In the long run, this is going to make this...
Well, and I do want to point out, obviously that was longer. And longer on the speed run is bad, except...
if it can make you go faster later.
Well, our goal is to survive for 9 floors and beat that final boss with 3 characters. So in order to survive for 9 floors, it's a lot scarier. So sometimes taking that extra time means that we can do it. We can survive.
Yes.
Also, that was 3 mice in a suit of armor. Really?
That one's actually not that useful right now.
I know, but like...
Yeah, now you can move that shield down.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that works.
No.
You don't have enough gold to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter.
Alright. Onwards.
Yeah, so the goal, the trade-off is, right, we took that risk of, like, yes, this floor took a lot longer than it normally take. But we will, because of the build we have now, the items that we got from that fight and the gold and getting the energy, all 3 of those things, it was a calculated risk that luckily paid off for us. It might not have, but luckily it did pay off for us.
This time.
This time. It doesn't always. It usually does not. Honestly, it usually does not pay off as well as it did there. But because we have this, the reason why this slanted sword is so good is it has an effect on it that every time you use it, it does more damage. And so that's scare in perk for this combat. So it will be constantly getting better and better throughout the combat, which will increase its... And since that's the only weapon we're really spending energy on, of course it has energy here. You don't have a ring, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Alright, onwards.
Yeah. So because we're constantly getting more and more damage from that, using that one, all of our energy, it will...
Nope.
No. So we end up with this, like... The fights go on longer, and we're doing more damage, so it becomes safer. Because one of the things that I didn't mention before in the previous encounter is that the previous thing is enemies. The longer they're on the screen, the longer the encounter goes on, they get more. They do more. They do more damage. They do more shield. They do more poison. Whatever they do it more. Every number they have increases.
Wait. That's actually not a good...
There's no better way to do that.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah. Oh, wait.
You can put it next to it. You can still put that shield there. The sword next to the shoes. Or that. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, so we're still doing really good for us. So we have that... the damage. So enemies increase their their damage, their block, everything like that. So by adding 1 damage per turn, we end up with more in the way of we're able to keep up with them. We're able to get things scary fights, get done with them quicker. So that's very hopeful for the purposes of the speed run and the goal of being able to get these things done again more reliably and safe, get through the things. And because the slowest thing is dying.
Did you talk about why we made this bigger even though it's slower to do the bigger circle?
Oh, I have not. Yes. So our primary source of block in this run especially is that shield that we start with, that blue little 1x1 shield. It's a create unique item, and the way it works is when you use it, the first time you use it, which you only use it once, but when you use it, it provides block to you, or armor to you, equal to the number of spaces it traveled before it was hit. So because we kind of hit it, because we hit it late, right? We're getting a lot more block. You know, as you can see, we have 7 now, and all of a sudden now we have 24. And if we get more in the way of block, that'll be, you know, even more. You might become less important to hit it late. More armor pieces, and we want to get armor pieces, especially because of the boots. But it's still generally the best way that Crate gets armor. It scales very well for the run. Additionally, if the square is bigger, you get more times to use items. You can put more items in the way of the thing for all these consumables and things like that. Those question marks, those are events. They're very different. They vary from, you know, all of them are very different. The one that one was is one of my favorites. It's not a good one, but it's one of my favorites. It's the Cursed Forge. It's like the Forge in that, you know, it enhances a weapon or it enhances an item on your page, on your backpack, but it also comes with some negative effect. Sometimes the negative effect is not that big of a deal, depending on your build. Sometimes and it's worth the positive effect. But the reason why Nade tends to avoid them in the speedrun is because it requires thinking to avoid that negative effect that you might get from it. And so, since we don't want to think in this run, this is a no thinking run.
I mean, it's a lot of thinking run, but we're trying to think less.
None of these are useful.
All right, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah. More armor is always good, especially with the with the extra armor pieces we have here. With the boots. So at this point, the only looking for is some rage.
I would really like some rage.
Which we did not get.
Really like some rage. Rage would be lovely about now.
So that's pretty much the only thing we would need for this run on this build to make it any better, to make it good enough to survive floor 9.
Well, and it's already pretty good, quite honestly.
Yeah, we probably could survive floor 9 with doing no extra fights, doing nothing else. There's always that risk if we get one of the harder bosses that we misjudge or miscalculate a fight. Because sometimes a fight can go very poorly, very quickly, especially with Crate, which has very little ability to kind of improvise on the fly.
Yeah.
So we kind of keep that in mind as we are doing our not useful. If you can get that gloves. This one is one of those events that is almost ever not worth it. It's a slow event, and it's random.
But Peggle was my first speed run, so
So now I got exactly what you wanted, like usual with this. So, you know, as I mentioned, the position matters. Gloves go on the back. Gloves go on the left and right. Yep. Boots go on the bottom. Helmet go on the top. Don't ask too many questions about how it makes sense. So you have these gloves. Now we're providing way more armor. We have 45 armor per turn on this turn before we even have to get hit. And we're doing, you know, what is that? 4 energy per turn?
I don't know. It's a lot of energy because we have the thingy where an adjacent weapon is used. Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lovely.
Yeah. So.
I'm selling that. Now we have even more energy.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Why we have one of the relics we got, that little rock with the wings. I mean, it's probably actually not a rock with wings, but that's what it looks like to me.
It's a geode.
It's a geode, yeah. But it looks like a rock with wings.
Dang it.
Yeah. Nah, not worth it because of the geode.
Oh, right. Geode. Yes. No buying.
So the geode, the reason why, the geode is, for every 40 gold you have, you get 1 energy automatically. So, like we bought that armor, you bought the forge slot, is 40 energy to get 40 gold to get 1 energy. That is just that without having to find the forge slot and have, you know, the ability to forge it onto there. So it's just better than the forge version because it's, you know, the same cost, but it's less RNG based. You can much more control it. Yeah. I think you're gonna be fine.
Ugh. Now we're just running into like 5 million fights on the way.
Yeah, it's like this is that, you know, the RNG run of this is that we don't have we have to fight. You have to deal with the randomness of the map. The map is randomized each time. Part of, you know, the learning from this run is understanding how the map generation works.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but I know intuitively, I have an intuitive sense of where the stairs are going to be each turn. It's kind of one of those things where you learn it by feel. Yeah, you don't need any of that, right? I see. You're gonna grab the sword.
There we go. Was it worth it? Probably not, but
Most
I did it
definitely.
anyway.
No, most definitely not. But you know, we do have this. You know, the shield got. You know, I don't remember what I was talking about before you made that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have no recollection. Oh, the randomness, the map generation.
Yes.
I have an intuitive sense, like, oh, I think that this is where the map is going to be. I think this is where the stairs are going to be, and it's fairly accurate. That assumptions. Yeah, you're good. You don't need any of this. Just go.
All right.
So we're on floor 9, and one thing I wanted to point out is, you know, Nade has their splits up. And kind of something to point out what we did paid off, right? So we had that floor 3. We were a little bit overestimate for floor 3, but on their floor 6 split, they made up 3 minutes over their PB. There was a PB of floor 4 through 6, and they made up 3 minutes over their estimate. So
because of nice weapons.
Because of the weapons, and you know, we're still a little bit overestimate for this run.
For now.
I mean, over the run for I don't remember what we were at when we started first. Oh, we were up 7 minutes. Actually, yeah. So we basically made a PB for crate, which is kind of how we do it. We lose time and gain time.
Listen, it's a roguelike. There's
no predicting.
that is how roguelikes go.
Yes.
But I did get that PB in just that section, so we're not doing too bad.
Yes. Yeah, we got a personal best on that floor 6.
Of course, this is floor 9, which means that, you know, we're gonna go to a whole new character.
And all the time save we get
is and it's all going to go down the trash for a little bit.
Yeah, which is why if we had done that, like, take an extra fight just to get a crafting on floor 6, you know, or floor 5 or 7, it probably wouldn't have been worth it. You would not have been able to make up the time enough to justify that.
Speedy fasting roguelikes do be like that. That is quite a sentence, and I agree with you.
Yeah. But yeah, so we are done with crate. We skipped the level up because it just takes time that we don't need to worry about. And then we'll be on to the last of the 3 characters.
Which is Satchel.
Which was another PB for crate. Crate as a whole. So Satchel is the bird bard, and his backpack is probably the weirdest of all the backpacks. It is not a square. It doesn't start as a square, and it will never be square. Probably.
Yeah, not the way I do it.
Yeah. The 2 things about him, right, is he has a new status effect that he can apply, which is Charm, and Charm is exactly what it does. It's charming. It makes the enemies think you are working for them, and they switch sides. So now the enemy will be doing its attention onto its ally, our enemy, and we don't have to kill anybody in this run. We sometimes will, but we don't usually. The other interesting thing is, just like Crate, you have these Tetranimos, but unlike Crate, they don't have to be contiguous. And in fact, Inade generally tries to make them non-contiguous. The advantages, the reasoning for that is a lot of Satchel's unique items are very specifically focused around what they're called pockets. Like each of the different contiguous spaces, like non-adjacent spaces, is called a pocket. And some items, like those gloves that we just found, do more things depending on the pocket situation.
Yes. That sounds weird, but you are correct.
So like, instead of just normally gloves do extra block for each space to the right or left of that glove. For these like curled fist gloves, the bird gloves, I think they're open faces because they're letting his talons out. They do more block for each pocket to the right or left. So we try to make sure that we're maximizing the number of pockets so that we have all of his items have the most effect. Much more of his items require pockets than require lots of space. So that's why we tend to do this disconnected backpack, even though it does lead us to having less space for big items. You'll see we have a lot more of like 1x2 and 1x1 items because we just can't really take anything else. Like we really don't have room for a pair of clothing, an armor. One thing you might have noticed there is the other thing that's nice about, Charm is if the enemy, like this mouse priestess, heals, she'll heal you.
She's a hedgehog.
Oh, she's a hedgehog?
A porcupine, actually.
Okay.
Sorry, we're all wrong.
Yeah. So the porcupine will heal you, not just her. She might heal allies too, I don't remember.
No. If they're on this side, they will cause things to the enemies over here, but if they're on this side, they won't, I think.
Oh, okay. I think you're right about that, yeah. Because they're still allies.
Yeah. So, like, yeah.
Yeah. So it's weird, but they will provide this this healing to us, which is very nice. It makes our fights a little bit safer.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
And we were at, slightly injured, but after that fight, we are doing much better. This slanted sword again.
Oh. I mean, I don't want it, but also...
Usually when we run, this is a wild run. You're doing things differently than you've ever done them. Making an attack bard
I got rage and charm? Oh no.
You're doing weird run. This is a weird run. Do the rage build. Do the rage satchel.
Alright, if y'all heard this, if we end up dying a horrible death, we're all blaming Arya. We're in agreement, right?
Yeah, I'll take that blame. If you die, dinner's on me.
I mean, she'd buy dinner anyway, for anyone who doesn't know. So... Hence my laughter.
But yeah, normally with Satchel, we try to go a charm route.
Yes.
It is definitely the safer of the two strategies for Satchel because of the things. And we don't generally. I said we might not kill anything this turn. That was the game telling me you're wrong, Arya.
This has been quite the triple threat. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So normally we would use our energy on the flute, just try to charm this enemy over and over and over again, trying to get it on our side. But I mean, we have a really good sword that does more damage every time we use it, and it has rage, which means everything does more damage every time we use that sword.
Yeah.
So we're going to be killing a lot more things than usual for this run. Just sell that, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're just kind of... We had the archery build for Crate, for Purse, and this attack build for the Bard.
This is a run of all time, folks, and not necessarily bad. It's just It's a run.
I mean, I will just say, again, I'm looking at the splits, that was a personal best on floor 3 for Satchel. So,
Everyone's fine.
you just put everybody to sleep for one turn?
Yeah.
So yeah, that stopwatch just puts everybody to sleep for one turn. They don't do their actions. I'm not sure exactly the intention behind that on Nanade, why you did that, but because it costs all of your energy to do that, it
does, but there was a lot of...
It seemed like the right move, and it turned out to be fine. Like, you're doing... It turned out to be the right move.
Yeah.
It does...
We're good.
We're doing well.
That's not... Wait, did we get a... Okay, we got a
store. So, diagonal items, as we see, both the wand and our slanted sword, right? They are interesting in that they can pass through pockets, because they're in two pockets at once. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of either of these things, but it does allow us to get bigger items if they're diagonal items. You're just selling those things?
Yes. Yes, I'm selling all of those things I just grabbed.
Yeah. Can you add more rage?
Yes, I can add more rage.
The reason why that was a question, I don't remember. Weapons have a certain amount of forge slots. Actually, I have to take a drink of water.
You've been talking too much.
All right, sorry about that. So yeah, items have a certain number of forge slots. It's the number in the bottom right corner of the item card.
At floor 5, I should have really expected that.
Yeah, probably. The hermit crabs are more common the higher floor you get. But each item has a certain number of rage slots that it can get, and forge slots. They are, in practical purposes of the speedrun, they are rage slots. You're holding on to that flute anyway.
Why not? There's no reason to toss it.
So this particular sword has, I think, 4 slots. Generally,
3, because it's a rare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 3 because you used it twice. Right. So it can be used. It can have. So if we have the gold, we can add more and more rage to it each run. Each time we go to that forge, up to, and that will help us, do even more damage as we move forward.
Listen, these are weird shapes these are unhelpful shapes.
You don't really need pockets.
Pockets are always needed.
Fair.
We're gonna do that. Alright.
Okay.
Let's just see really quick.
It's the same.
But this is... Haha. Alright.
Okay, we got one more.
Yay.
Yeah. So the wand that we just got is a regen wand, which is good, especially because we don't have a lot of armor. That's the one thing that this build does not have is any sort of like healing or and very little armor in general. So getting this regen wand is good because it will give us it'll heal us as the fights move on. And since the fights will be, over quickly-ish, we will end up having nice kind of regenning capabilities throughout the fight. We will heal up, and the fight shouldn't last too long. If the longer they last, if we get more mana, the more healing we'll get, which is always a good thing. Until we run out of mana. And mana is something we've been using it for all these fights. I haven't really explained it. Those little blue orbs with the numbers on them, those are mana stones. Mana is another type of resource that we can use in the run. But unlike energy, mana does not recharge at the end of every fight, or at the end of every turn. They recharge at the end of every combat, at the beginning of every at the end of every combat. So you have to use them kind of judiciously depending on how you want them to work. Did they have haste? Yeah.
I am missing a single gold.
Sell the mana stone.
I'll get it here.
Oh, fair. So the mana the mana decreases when you use it, but doesn't so we have to be judicious in how we use our mana because we don't get it back. There are ways to get mana back, but whether we'll get there or not is kind of a luck-based thing, so it's something we can't rely on, in any real way.
But now we're back to full health.
Yeah. Ooh, a real mana stone. You don't need to post
this.
I
need to sell that.
Yeah. So there's two different shapes of the mana stones. There's like the kind of broken looking ones and the full conch shells. The broken ones, they work like real mana stones, but the kind of the problem with them is mana follows the path. Like it kind of goes through, makes a path, kind of like charge does. It makes that path through the mana stones and takes the mana that it needs in order to do the thing. The broken mana stone, when the mana passes through that, it will drain it. So if it's not at the edge of the chain of mana stones, you won't get any mana from it. So that's why we had that third one, we weren't attaching it because we wouldn't have been able to use it with the way that the mana stones would have worked.
Dang it! Oh well.
I used it twice.
Yeah.
So similar to that other the bow that we had, the wand increases its mana cost every time it's used in a turn. So normally it's 1, but because we used it a second time, normally it could last us 3 turns. Instead we only had to use it twice. But I mean that's fine. We have more than enough healing. We'll be fine. We're doing really good.
Is this 2? I don't have a place for that.
No, you do not. Nothing's here. Yeah, that's probably worth it.
Alright. Also, yes, pockets are always needed in dresses.
Was that another PB? Yeah, it looks like it might have been.
No.
No, it was not. Okay. It's hard to sell. It's hard to tell.
Alright. Okay, well this works.
Yeah, this was a very empty floor, which is good, especially since we're doing pretty good, all things considered, with this build. It's different. It's not a normal satchel build, but it does...
I still have some charm.
Yeah.
A little tiny bit.
I'm not sure if you've not killed anybody before they've been charmed.
Yeah. The last fight, but like, sure, just for funsies. This is an unhelpful shape.
Both of them. As I said, you get the same ratio of pieces that you get in Tetris, which is generally way more of those Z's than you ever actually want. We have these bricks in our backpack. Again, don't ask too many questions. It's a magic backpack, and so things work.
It is literally a magic backpack, yes.
Yeah. There is lore to this game.
Oh, that already has regen.
Yeah.
That's unhelpful. Oh wait, this is a 0 cost, so...
Might as well keep it.
Yeah.
The bricks provide block...
Is the backpack the hero?
The bricks provide block equal to the number of blocks next to it. Number of bricks and other structures next to it. So it's another way to get armor, and it is, if you get enough bricks, it is about equivalent for the space. Sometimes it's even slightly better for space economy than most armor pieces. The biggest
Also,
issue.
see, not helpful, but technically. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah. The issue with the bricks is you need to get lucky in getting a bunch of them. You know, those 2 bricks only provide by themselves like 2 block each.
I mean, this is not useful. But
Yeah.
maybe this forge will have something wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know what you need though. More rage. If you move this there, you get its effect.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's why it helps to have a second set of eyes on this game, because you can't possibly see everything while you're moving quickly. I don't know if that's considered cheating, but this isn't an official run anyway. It's a co-op run. The way I started playing this game was actually co-op, and this is the co-op.
In this way.
Yeah, it was. We weren't speed running, so we talked about it more. But we would be playing the game on the couch, and I would be watching over the shoulder, like, oh, what if we do this? What if we do that? Mostly, that's one of the reasons why I am not good at the speedrun part of this game. I'm not good at moving fast, because I play this game to optimize every single piece of energy we could possibly... Every piece of equipment I could possibly get, I optimize. And that's slow and not necessary for the speedrun. Yeah. More rage.
I will take more rage. This is full, but...
Do it to that one.
Yeah. Do I have stuff to sell?
Not really.
No. Oh, I mean...
You can get the energy. That's worth it. One more energy is worth it. You got nothing to do with that 17 gold.
Alright, sure.
Do it. You see, you were worried about dying from this build, and you're doing fine.
Oops. There we go.
And I know I'm speaking a little too soon. I'm really good at doing that, of speaking too soon, but
Alright. Yeah.
you just keep moving.
Oops. Oh well. That's fine.
Yeah, so the triangle, there are 2 ways to get charm. I normally talk about this a lot more because you have...
Normally we do charm builds.
But the 2 ways are instruments and drums. Instruments are just items. They use them, and they add charm instead of adding block, instead of adding damage or anything like that. But drums, they provide a bonus to once you use them, you kind of turn the drum on, and you just keep drumming. You just keep hitting that triangle every turn. You double its effect every turn, which is just adding a little bit of charm.
Hey, we get to see King.
So King is the harder of the, and this is why this is where my insistence on going damage might cause problems for us.
Well, we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what happens.
King is harder in that every time you do damage to King, he gets a rage, which means his damage goes up very quickly. But our damage is going up very quickly too.
Because we also have lots of rage.
Because we're also getting lots of rage, so we're fine.
We have so much rage. All right, and time is coming up in just a second. When I click new game, time. I think that's not a PB for me, but that is a PB versus for a marathon.
Yes.
Yay! So as roguelikes go, we're very underestimate. Sorry.
Usually we go overestimate, so we probably increase the estimate a little bit.
Yeah, it's all good though. But yeah, that was Backpack Hero. There is also, we didn't touch Perfect. So we were all doing these quick games, which are roguelikes. If you buy this game, there's also a rogue light, which is the story mode. I don't want to show you too much, but you get to unlock things more slowly and...
It's a much better way to learn the game.
Yeah, if you're learning the game, story mode. But quick games, there's also a ton of other different challenges and things you can do with each character. There is so much more to this game than you got to see in the speedrun. If you're interested, there is a speedrun.com leaderboard, though we're trying to get it updated. It's not currently updated, but we do have a Discord. We're working on it, and yeah, I'm always open. If you want to DM me on Discord, I'm Trainer Anade, or I don't stream all that often, but you can follow me twitch.tv/Trainer Anade. Yeah, Arya, do you have any shoutouts?
Nothing right now. I mean, I might start streaming. I finally set up my Twitch to allow myself to stream, but I'm not sure I'll actually do anything with it. But yeah, if you wanna chat about this game, I'm always up for chatting about this game. I have so much more to say, so many opinions, and there's so much to talk about. So that's it.
And definitely, I mean, I highly recommend get this game. It's on sale on Steam fairly frequently. It's also available on Switch and
Itch and
a few different places as well.
PS4, I think.
Okay, I knew it was another system, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
So it's available lots of different ways. Even not on sale, it's only like $20. So
definitely get your money's worth from it if you like this kind of game.
Yeah, if you like roguelikes or roguelites, I recommend it. Anyway, I will let us continue. Thank you so much for having me on Fleet Fest. Bye.